Welcome to the leading podcast for long-term weight management. Subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jenny on all social media channels. You can also sign up to the newsletter to receive frequent content and tips for weight loss success.
Hey guys, welcome to the Power Over Food podcast. I'm your host, Jenny McDonald. I am the Food Freedom Fairy, and it's great to have you here. If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you are an avid listener, then thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. And I always say, if you enjoy these podcasts, if you feel that they are adding value to your life, if you feel that they are helping you move forward with your relationship with food, they're making you look at things differently, then please tell somebody else, share them, write me a review, drop me a message, let me know, because it's always nice to hear feedback and to know that the podcast is reaching more and more listeners. Anyway, today is it's a bit of a mishmash really. It's 5 things that I believe hold people back from creating the life they want with food, from food freedom and from weight loss, for those of you who are still on that weight loss journey. And I'm sure there are more than 5 things, but these 5 things really stand out for me. So number 1 is perfection, aiming for perfection. So this is kind of like that all or nothing thinking as well. So it's like, I need to be perfect this week on my diet or I've blown it. If I eat one square of chocolate or one thing that isn't on my plan, I've blown it. So can you relate to that? Do you find that you still feel that you have to be perfect? And I was thinking about where this comes from, and I think it, for a lot of dieters, in fact, almost every client that I've ever worked with over the years has this tendency to be all or nothing. It's, I'm totally in control, I'm doing really well, or I've blown it and I'm totally out control. And something that I really encourage my clients to do in terms of working towards food freedom and weight loss is to create a food framework that works for them, and to include foods that they enjoy eating, and maybe, well, not even maybe, and include foods that do not nourish your body but you enjoy eating for pleasure. If there are foods that you don't want to let go of, then don't try and abstain from them for weeks and weeks until you reach your goal, because it isn't necessarily productive. Because what happens is when you crash and you have that food, then you feel you've blown it, and then you haven't been perfect, so you feel like you're back to square one. So it's all about creating that relationship with food that you're at ease with, that yes, gets you to your weight loss goals, but also that serves you, that helps you stay sane, if you like. Now, I have a specific way I do this with my clients, and I take them through a series of questions to help them create that food framework. But it really is about what foods, nourish your body, what foods do you enjoy eating, and what foods you want to keep in your life for pleasure, and what do you want to let go of. But most importantly, once that framework has been created, it is about tweaking it so that it serves you well. So what foods fill you up, keep you satisfied, what foods bloat you that actually you thought you really enjoyed, but maybe they're not serving you. So it's about also not just creating that food framework, but getting in tune with your body, understanding your body, and also understanding your mindset. So if I eat that food, does it make me feel rubbish because I deem it as diet food, or do I deem it as high calorie food? So it triggers something else. So I encourage you to think about perfection and whether that all or nothing thinking is one of your tendencies. Now, the next thing, and this is really key, is time. There is never the right time, and I haven't got enough time. So let's first of all take there is never the right time. Again, I think this comes from trying to be perfect. So it's like, well, I can't start working on my relationship with food this week because the kids are off school. oh, I can't start working on it next week because I've got a night out on Saturday and I might be having a meal or having a drink and that's going to ruin things. So again, because we're trying to be perfect, then there's never the right time to start, because life isn't clear, is it? We've always got something on. There's always going to be a reason to overindulge. So how about flipping that and thinking, well, let's challenge myself to see how I can eat to nourish my body when I go out for that meal next week. Let's see how I can eat with the children and we can all eat nourishing foods. And that's, again, it's not about being restrictive. It's just about thinking, how can I make this fit into my life, rather than waiting for the perfect time to start, because there never is a perfect time. And while we're on time, I said before about never having enough time. The reality is, unless we carve time into our lives, there is never going to be time for you to focus on you. So you have to make yourself a priority. And that comes down to self-worth, which I'm going to come on to in a second. But there really is, there's a saying, everyone has the same 24 hours in the day. And yes, we all have different commitments, but I'd ask you to consider how much time maybe you spend scrolling on your phone, how much time you spend watching TV. And a few years ago, I learnt this lesson from a mentor, and he taught me time blocking. And I think I've probably mentioned this before, but I now schedule my day. So from the moment I get up, I have a plan of, let's say if I get up at 5, sometimes I get up at 5, sometimes it's 6, but it will be 5 o'clock, meditation, drink my hot water, write my gratitude list, journal. 6 o'clock, go for a walk, for example. 7 o'clock, wake Nancy, get her ready for school, blah blah blah. So I'm literally structured throughout my day, not just with the tasks I do for work and seeing clients, but just in general. I structure my day, and I find that I am so much more productive. And it also stops me procrastinating, because if at 7 o'clock I'm going out for a walk, then that's on my list and I want to tick it off. Whereas if I say, oh, I'll try and get out for a walk at some point today, I end up not doing it, because just like you, just like many other people, I put myself bottom of the list and I think, well, I'll get my work done, I'll record a podcast first and then I'll go for the walk. But then it gets to the end of the day and you haven't done that thing that you wanted to do for yourself. So really recommend time stamping your day to help you be more productive and use your time efficiently. And there's another saying, and it's not managing time, it's about self-management. And again, I do agree with that, because I think we can all easily procrastinate, waste time, spend time doing things that are not so productive and that don't help us move forward towards our goals, and we're not managing ourselves. So how can you manage yourself better? And that might be getting an accountability buddy, it might be getting some support, it might be asking other people to check in with you. How can you manage your time and manage yourself better? Now, I mentioned self-worth, so this is number 3. I think that what holds us back is how much we value ourselves, how much we love ourselves, how worthy we feel we are of having that time for us. So do you put other people's needs first before you do things for yourself? And I think this is a real difficult one for a lot of women, because we have children, we have family commitments, we may have parents that need looking after. We may be the only person in the house that does the cooking, the cleaning, the washing. So I get it, it is difficult, but as Holly Matthews said at a talk I watched of hers, no one is coming to save you unless you put those boundaries in place, unless you schedule in that time for yourself, unless you value yourself. No one else is going to do that for you. So my question to you is, how can you value yourself more? How can you invest in yourself, whether that is with time, whether that is investing in yourself in terms of planning your food? It doesn't necessarily mean spending money on yourself. An investment in yourself might be going out for a walk each day. It might be setting boundaries with other people so that you keep yourself safe so that you allocate that time and it's not taken by somebody else. Now, I mentioned investing in yourself wasn't about money, but obviously it also is. And sometimes I think we invest in the wrong things. So that might be, for the last few years, you've spent money at a slimming club and you're being weighed regularly, but you're actually not seeing results because the slimming club isn't offering what you need, the support you need. And whilst it may be sold that way, it may be sold in terms of, you get weighed every week, I'll text you and see how you're getting on, or we provide recipes for you. If that isn't what you need, then you are wasting your money. So you're not really investing in yourself if it's not giving you the results. One of my new clients said that she was paying for her coaching with me by ditching her Costa habit. She said that she was often, probably 4 to 5 times a week, going to Costa and spending over £5. And she said she worked out that if she saved this, she could be a member of the academy and she could work on her relationship with herself and food over drinking a Costa every day that she can actually make at home. So it's about where we invest our money as well to support ourselves. And I know when I was really struggling with food, I was spending probably £30 a week, maybe £40 a week on takeaways. And then my shopping bill was probably way higher than it needed to be because I was buying a lot of food that I didn't need. And I believe that was because my self-worth was so low. I wasn't being clear about what I was spending my money on. It was just like, this will make me feel better. So back to self-worth, what can you do to increase your self-worth? And simple things that you can do is make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people that lift you up and help you value yourself. Write a list of all of the valuable things that you have achieved in your life, all of the unique things that make you you. And also go back and listen to the podcast. I interviewed Self-Love Sarah, and she gave some great tips on how to love yourself, how to value yourself. So go and listen to that if you need to work on your self-worth. Okay, number 4 is that you are bogged down and you are confused with all the dieting messages. And if you are on social media, have a look at who you are following because there are so many different messages. And the fact is, every diet that you are maybe Googling, that you are looking at, will probably work, well, not probably, they will work, if they work, in a calorie deficit. So whatever rules you are following, it is likely you are following them to try and reduce calories. So if you're only eating certain food groups, it will make you reduce calories. If you are fasting, it's likely to make you reduce calories. However, it can get really, really confusing. So I would step back from scrolling, from Googling different diets, get rid of the confusion and decide what works for you. We are all unique. Our bodies are all unique. We all need a different way of eating to suit ourselves. So no meal plan that I can give you or anyone else can give you is going to suit you because it is about what works for you. And if you think back to when you have had diet plans, how many times did you replace foods? How many times did you think, oh, actually, I don't like that, I'm not going to eat that? So it's about finding what works for you. And the last one, number 5, is you haven't got the support around you that you need. And that might be in terms of relationships, colleagues, partners, or anyone else in your life that affects your relationship with food. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have a partner and they do all the cooking and you want to eat differently, but your partner is set in their ways. There is going to have to be some sort of budge there. Otherwise, you are always going to fall back into eating whatever your partner is cooking for you. And that shift might be that you take over some of the cooking, or that you agree certain boundaries with your partner around what foods that you're having. You create a meal plan together so that you can both eat more nourishing foods together. It may be that your partner doesn't want you to lose weight. And I've done a whole podcast on relationships, which you can go and listen to. But obviously that is really challenging if you are living with someone that really wants to sabotage you because they want you to stay where you are. So that's something else to reflect on. It may be that you have a group of friends and they all struggle with their weight and their relationship with food, and it's just easier to stay the same within that group of friends because you've noticed before when you've started to make changes, there's a lot of comments coming your way. There's a lot of encouragement to, oh, it doesn't matter, oh, just eat this. And whilst I'm all for food freedom means that you are choosing to eat what you want. And that means that if someone's saying, oh, just have it, and you genuinely don't want it, then you are free to not eat that food. So what support have you got around you? Who is your biggest cheerleader? Who wants you to succeed? Who wants you to have the relationship with food that you want? And who sabotages you? Maybe write a list. Maybe look at who you can get in your camp, if you like, and how you can maybe spend more time with those people rather than the people that are going to sabotage you. And obviously, if it's people that you are living with, then how can you make that work? How can you discuss that with them? Or how can you get a plan together so that you can get that support that you need? And that's also might be external support. So it might be working with a coach. It might be working with a trainer, a nutritionist. But if you are going down that route, I really recommend that you choose wisely. Find somebody that resonates with you, and find somebody that has the tools that you need, because it's no good going to work with somebody that's just going to give you another diet plan. And whilst they may be, I don't know, a dietitian, for example, that's great. But if you need work on your mindset, can they help you with that? I've worked with several ladies now that have said, oh, I've been working with this nutritionist for 6 months and she's so lovely, but I'm not following anything she's given me. And that's because their mindset hasn't shifted, because they haven't done that work around why they're eating, around repairing that relationship with food, making friends with themselves, combating self-sabotage. They haven't done that inner work. So maybe a nutritionist would be really, really helpful down the line when you've created that peaceful relationship with food. But that has to come first, because no amount of nutrition advice and diet advice is going to help you if you are still in that dieting cycle and you are not managing your relationship with food and your relationship with yourself. So that is my top five things that might be holding you back, stopping you having the results that you want. And obviously, if this is resonating with you and you do want to discuss how to work with me, then I have private clients, and I also have the Becoming You Academy, where you can work with other ladies on their quest for food freedom and weight loss. And if you want to know any more about those, just go to the show notes, have a look, book a call with me, drop me a message, and let's chat about whether I am the right person to help you, because I might not be. So I am going to sign off. I wish you a wonderful day wherever you are, wonderful evening, and I look forward to being back in your ear soon with some more tips to help you find food freedom. Take care, guys.